Hello everyone. You got questions, and I'm 100% certain I might have answers. I have used high-tech pencil to write all your questions down here. Yeah, my tech savvy is horrible. Just bear with me. So let's go through one question at a time. Christina Andersson asks, which opera buffa is your favorite and which role would you like to sing? My favorite opera buffa is definitely Don Giovanni, and which role I would like to sing is Commendatore, because Commendatore is just simply awesome. It's not a funny role, but it's a very dramatic one, and I get to drag Don Giovanni to hell. That's wonderful. And Kristina Andersson continues, why Hagen? Well, thank you for these questions, Mom. Why Hagen? I think, Hagen is the main villain in Richard Wagner's Götterdämmerung, The Twilight of the Gods. And I believe that Hagen is the greatest villain in all opera, maybe even the greatest villain in all fiction. Or maybe the Joker is better, I don't know, but definitely Hagen is one awesome villain. Love him. Then Musafani, the music fan, is asking, what made you decide becoming an opera singer? What made me decide to become an opera singer? Well, I quit working as a bartender in 2017, and then I had some time in the evening, so my mother asked if I would like to take some classical singing lessons, and I took some, and I got hooked. And a year and a half later, I went studying to Stockholm Opera Studio, and I've been basically driven by this. I've been having this crazy drive that I just gotta do this. This is so much fun. I love it. What's your favorite opera and why? Musafani continues. My favorite opera and why? Well, definitely Wagner's Ring Cycle is my favorite. I know it's 4 operas, but it's one story. I mean, it's just lovely how it's so written by an obviously crazy person that every single melody has a meaning and everything has its own theme. Everything, every person, every item has its own theme, and you can just listen to it forever and ever and ever and never get tired of interpreting. Finding something new here and there. That's one of the many reasons, but yeah. That's a start. Okay, Musafani continues with a third question. Your favorite opera singers? My favorite opera singers? Well, as a base, I'm going to mention maybe my 3 favorite basses. Matti Salminen, Samuel Raimi, Giulio Neri. Love them. All 3. Awesome. Adam Philp asks, hi Tommy, what do you think are the differences between an opera and a musical? Well, the simple answer is that most opera is sung from dialogue to songs, and then most musicals, most dialogue is being spoken. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule. Like, for example, in The Magic Flute, the dialogue is spoken, and so is it in Fidelio and other operas as well. But there are also musicals like what was it called again? Oh yes, The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. It's also sung through and through. Now also with instrumentation. Traditionally, all opera is played with an orchestra. And with musicals, it's kind of more, it's not bound by the same rules. I mean, it can be by an orchestra or by a rock band or virtually anything. Of course, these rules are also being broken in opera. Only a year and a half ago, I went to watch an opera in Stockholm, which was written for 1 soprano and 4 electric guitars. So rules are being bent and broken all the time, but there are differences. And of course, the song technique with opera, you're supposed to sing without amplification above an orchestra. And then in musicals, a lot of the time, not all of the time, but most of the time, especially in big productions, there is a little microphone here, and the voices are amplified. And of course, because of the singing technique is different. So there are some of the differences of musical and opera. I hope I got it partly right. Seth Sundman asks, "Oh, hello, dear friend. Love you, man. If you could choose any opera house in the world to be employed full time, which would you choose?" Well, the Met would be the simplest answer, and I would love to work at the Met. But also, if I could choose any opera house, it would be some place where, because the Met and most opera houses in the world, they mostly do very traditional repertoire, but I would like to work in a house where they have traditional repertoire, and then also, fresh from the oven repertoire coming up, and also, taking some rare gems from the archives to do, so that there would be always this kind of excitement of what will it be next year, and not knowing that we're going to do Le Nozze di Figaro every second year. But yeah, that's about it. Seth Sundman continues. What are singers you appreciate in each main Fach? Oh, I just talked about some favorite singers. Well, I'll do this as a lightning round from highest voice to lowest. So soprano, Kirsten Flagstad, mezzo-soprano, Jamie Barton, and then contralto, Eva Podlesh, then tenor, Jussi Björling, gotta mention Jussi, baritone, Seth Sundman, and bass, I just mentioned three of her, well, bass, Mika Kares, and I forgot about the countertenor, Jochen Kowalski, there we go, and then Zapfer Sepa 1 asks, this is fun, I hope I said that right, can you please explain from an opera singer's perspective what were Verdi's innovations? We all know how his contemporary Wagner changed opera forever, but Verdi is also quite influential. Thanks. Well, what were Verdi's innovations? I really cannot answer what his innovations were, but I can say this about Verdi, that he was so massively huge that basically between the years 1850 to 1899, I mean, it was all it was all his works that were being played in Italian opera. I mean, the only Italian pieces I can think of that are still in repertoire today from that era would be Mefistofele by Boito and La Bohème by Puccini, but then it's all Verdi dominance, baby. What can I say? I mean, excellent composer, and I love his operas so much. But what were his innovations? I'm not the right guy to answer that. I'm sorry. Then we got some questions from the Twitter sphere. Ann Lander asks, which do you prefer, director who insists you do exactly as they say, or a director who invites your interpretation of the role? Well, the short answer would be the one who lets me do my interpretation of the role. But it's a little more complicated than that. My big wish is because I like working with a director who has a vision, and I want the director and I to help each other to reach that vision. And it shouldn't be, a director who makes me do things that I simply can't, or that I'm being a difficult person by insisting that everything should be done my way, for I'm the fantastic bass, my rules. So I believe in teamwork and helping each other out get the best results, because that is what creates magic, in my opinion. Now, Christina Forsgård asks, is it possible to actually hear the words and understand the opera story without subtitles? I have never been able to follow an opera story in any language without interpretation. Oh, well, that's a very interesting question I gotta ask. I gotta say, sorry. Well, to make that something modern, from the 21st to 20th century in a language you speak, can be definitely understandable when, you know, figures of speech and sayings and expressions are still fairly modern and understandable to the ear. Of course, if the issue is that the singers don't exactly articulate well enough, and I understand that the problem is, yes, we have to sing above a massive orchestra, we have to sing above a massive orchestra, and therefore it can definitely be heard. So those subtitles are extremely helpful. But of course, the older the opera gets, the harder it becomes to understand because, you go to watch something like Il Ritorno di Ulisse in Patria, an opera from the year 1639, 1640, something like that. Then all of a sudden, you even read the subtitles, and you're kind of, is that an expression? Is that a figure of speech? What does that even mean? I have no clue. So, yeah, modern stuff could be understood. Older stuff, even with subtitles, can be very messy. So, it's always good to have a synopsis with you when you watch an opera. I highly recommend it. Um, yeah, that's all the questions for today. I hope I could somewhat answer them for you. And yeah, keep those questions coming. I mean, this was a lot of fun to do. And leave a comment down below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. And yeah, see you in the next video. I'm hoping to make these every Friday. Be seeing you. Fare thee well.